Fantasy Farmstead, Modern Benton Cove, by R.C.Davis. Spring. Well, fuck. Jay lowered his eyes for one more look at the photograph in his hand. The cabin in the picture appeared just like he remembered it. A small but cozy two-room wood cabin with red cedar siding and blue shutters, sitting in a small yard of emerald green grass and clover. The soft green lawn was now a 15-year-old new-growth forest, all thorny pioneering brambles and low-quality softwoods. The roof sank inward, the cedar siding was broken apart and falling off, the windows were shattered, and a shutter swayed in a breeze, threatening to fall to the ground in reunion with its twin. A tree stuck out of the entryway, as if greeting the outside world with a wave of its branches. "Grandpa, you haven't been here in a while, have you?" Letting his bag slip off his shoulder and land in the brush, Jay fished out his phone. "At least I get reception out here," he mumbled, pulling up the internet. "Benton Cove Resort closed for another week, and there are no other hotels in this town. Of course there aren't any other hotels in this town. I should have bought a car, but then I'd need a license." He looked around and considered his options. The city was a 2-hour bus ride away, and it wouldn't be back until tomorrow. There was no place in town to stay the night, and he didn't have a tent. Best bet was to walk the half-mile back to Benton Cove and see if their general store that claimed to have everything actually had everything. Jay snapped a picture of the cabin and sent it to his mom. "Photograph was old. Place needs a match. I'll be fine, though. Love you." Lily slouched on her stool with her back against the corner wall that separated the cash register from the rest of the Holton's general store. It was pretty much the perfect spot. She could sit there and look at anything she wanted on her cell phone. Nothing bad, just slightly ecchi manga that was too much effort to explain if Megan started asking questions. Currently, she was catching up on one called "My New Neighbor, Her Cousin, and the Kitchen Chef," because the naming convention for manga was freaking insane. "Lil," whispered Megan. Lily didn't hear her. "Lil," she whispered again, only slightly louder. "Lily!" Megan hissed as quietly as possible. "Hmm?" Lily responded, looking up with her eyes, but otherwise not moving. The older woman pointed a bony finger down one of the aisles. Lily leaned forward to get a good look at what had her boss so excited. At the far end of the outdoors section was a man. That by itself was wholly unremarkable. She had known someone was in the store for the last 5 minutes. She just wasn't sure who it was, as she could only see the back of the guy's head. Lily turned back to Megan. "What?" "Watch," Megan insisted. Lily leaned forward again and watched the mundane situation while wondering what Megan was on about. The man turned to look down at some canvas tarps, and getting a clear look at his face, Lily didn't recognize him. She didn't recognize him. The two women made excited gestures at each other, as the mundane and unremarkable quickly became the most interesting thing to happen in town since the last wave of tourists during the fall festival. Megan quickly backed off, and Lily straightened up as the stranger approached the counter. He was a tall, young, and handsome man with an average build, short brown hair, a beard that looked like it was well trimmed and kept short, the most perfect nose, and gorgeous coal-black eyes. He wore a dark gray hoodie and beige cargo pants. Lily pushed a loose strand of hair out of her face, which almost immediately returned to its previous position. "Hey," she said, adopting the generic friendly cashier tone she used for the tourist. "Hi," replied the stranger. Lily attempted again to remove the loose strand of hair from her line of sight before scanning his items. A canvas, rope, duct tape, several bottles of water, a machete. "You forgot the hockey mask," Lily remarked before she could stop herself. The stranger laughed. "I didn't see one." Lily pushed the annoying strand of hair out of her face again. "It's in aisle 3. "Seriously?" "Yep. I'll have to pick one up next time. 42.23, Lily said, pushing her hair out of her eyes for the umpteenth time. He paid, gave her a pleasant goodbye, and as she watched the stranger leave, she finally looped the loose strand of hair over her horn and out of her face. "Flirt much?" Megan asked. "What?" The older woman leaned against the counter with a smug look on her face. She pantomimed pushing her hair out of her face. And then again, and again. Lily put a hand over her mouth. "Oh, gods, I didn't." Megan nodded viciously. "Oh, yeah, you did." "You think he noticed?" I don't think he was blind, dear. Lily dropped back into her stool and buried her face in her hands. I wouldn't worry about it, Lil. The tourists don't stay long. Though I didn't realize it was already the 21st. Lily lifted her head. It's the 15th. Both women looked at each other, then towards the door. Megan broke the silence first. So, where in the abyssal hell did he come from? Despite the persistence of snow in areas that remained fully shaded, and the cool chill in the air, the remnants from winter, Jay had dropped his hoodie and was sporting a thin sheen of sweat. Out of breath and already exhausted, he stood up straight, letting the vertebrae in his back shift into their correct positions with small, satisfying pops. He managed to forge a path through the brambles to the cabin's front door and win a duel with the tree growing out of the entryway. The inside of the cabin wasn't in as much disrepair as he had been expecting. Stains and soft spots in the floor showed where the roof was leaking, but the boards themselves seemed sturdy enough. Leaves and squirrels' nests were everywhere, and there was the matter of the tree, now a stump, growing through the floorboards and out the door. The bedroom looked to be in decent shape. The mattress wasn't much more than springs and a thick blanket of moss and soil, but the frame itself was still standing strong. In the main room, Jay's grandfather's favorite chair was in a similar state as the bedroom mattress. The wood stove was covered in surface rust but seemed to be fully intact. The kitchen sink had a few inches of soil in the basin that had grown a large clump of now brown and very dead grass. Jay gave the hand pump a try, but no water presented itself. The bathroom looked much the same as the kitchen. The wooden tub had seen better days and probably wasn't worth testing. No electricity, Jay noted out loud. He remembered his grandfather using oil lamps to light the place. Jay was going to need electricity and the internet. Sadly, this little adventure might end up costing him more than he had previously anticipated. First things first, though, he needed to gather some wood and see if the stove still worked. An hour later, he was outside the cabin, coughing and sputtering as smoke rolled out of the building behind him. Once Jay figured out how to get onto the roof without a ladder, a precarious situation considering its current state, removing the old bird's nest was easy. Getting down was a little less easy. The next step was to locate the well pump, but as the sun was quickly descending, that got replaced with barricading the entryway and trying to keep as much heat inside the leaky cabin as possible. Hopefully it won't rain. Lily slammed her key into its lock and burst through the door. She kicked off her shoes, dropped her bag on the table, snatched up her cell phone charger, and bolted back out, careful not to slam the door behind her. She slid her key into the lock of the next apartment over and slipped inside, again being sure not to slam the door. Hana, 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 no hana, Lily yelled rapidly and practically cannonballed into the beanbag chair next to the blonde. Lily, Nohana mocked in a far less exuberant tone, never taking her eyes off the TV screen. Guess what? You ordered something online and it just arrived, came the blonde's educated guess. No, that should be a day or two yet, but we need to change the population sign. Oh God, did old man Turner finally pass away? No, I don't think so. So, who's pregnant? No one's pregnant. Well, not as far as I know. Lily opened up an app on her phone. Someone moved here. Nohana paused her game and slowly turned to look at the grinning Talani girl. Lily, nobody moves here. Lily turned her phone to show a picture of some guy. Casey got a good shot of him, but I sort of talked to him at the store. Nohana took the phone and scrutinized the image. Early tourist? Nope, got it confirmed by Harak himself. This guy came in this morning and paid the back taxes on the old Corson place. That rundown shack in the woods? Lily got up. He's hot, right? Nohana looked the image over again. Not really. What? Lily stopped rummaging through Nohana's cabinets. He's totally hot. No, you just live in a small town and have no options. You said you talked to him. Was, Nohana made air quotes, hot the first thing that came to mind? What would you know? Lily retorted as she snatched her phone back and examined the image like an appraiser looking for signs of fraud. Okay, how about decently attractive? Nohana shrugged and picked her controller back up. I don't know. Sure. Lily returned to rummaging through the cabinets. How's spaghetti sound? I don't have any meat. I'll give you some meat, Lily chuckled to herself and put a pot of water on the stovetop, then quickly dashed back to her place. She froze in the hall with a grimace as the door slammed shut behind her. So you're the new guy everyone's been talking about. It was a statement, not a question, and it made Jay's stomach sink. Everyone? Asked Jay. Yeah, it's a small town. You're the most interesting thing that's happened since some drunk tourists went joyriding in Corbin's tractor last summer. Oh, okay. Drunks taking tractors, does that happen often? Nah, most of the tourists are just families getting out of the city. But we do occasionally get the college frat boys. We don't have a jail here, so I had to lock 'em up in the post office sorting room. Hal was a decent-looking Tulani chap, with the light purple skin, small horns, and the long black tail common to his race. He wore a uniform that was equal parts postman and police officer, with additional badges for EMT and fire department. It didn't really surprise Jay after dealing with the county recorder, who was also the librarian, tax assessor, and mayor. Hey, Hal, came a female voice from the post office entrance. Good morning, Squirt. The girl betrayed a slight grimace, and Jay instantly recognized her from the general store. She wasn't an inch over 5 feet and couldn't have weighed more than 110 soaking wet. Light purple skin, small horns, long black tail, long black hair, and golden eyes. He couldn't help but notice a clear familiar resemblance to Hal, which made the Squirt nickname make perfect sense. Unlike the uniformed Hal, the girl wore a simple pleated skirt, dark blue hoodie, and a black choker. It's Jay, right? Hal asked. Jay shifted. He hadn't actually introduced himself yet. Yeah, Jay Higgs. Hal held out a hand to shake. Hal Fisher. Here's my little sister, Lily. There's another sister, but she's in the city. We've met, sort of, Lily chimed in. And there's our truck. Hal moved to open the loading bay door as a rather short semi began backing in. What are you expecting, Lil? Just a manga. And you? Clearly referring to Jay. A whole damn pallet of crap. He looked to Lily. Hockey masks. Lily stifled a chuckle. This must be the new guy, came the voice of a man that must have been in his 50s. Jay held out a hand. He was likely going to be doing that a lot. Jay Higgs. The man grabbed it and added a pat to the shoulder. Corbin Smithson. I run the sawmill. Heard a lot about you. That can't be good, Jay admitted. I've only been here a day. Corbin nodded. He had a weathered face with a perpetual squint and held his chin up when he spoke. You bought the course in place. Inherited, actually. Oh, how you related to Kyle? He'd be my grandfather? No shit. Corbin snapped his fingers and looked to Lily for help. What was Kyle's little girl's name? Lily shrugged. Tamara? Jay offered. Yeah, that's it. That would be my mother. I ain't seen her since she was knee-high to a grasshopper. How's she doing? She's doing well. Good to hear, good to hear. Squirt, Hal yelled. Lily only just barely caught the package thrown at her, as she apparently had been paying too much attention to Jay and Corbin's conversation. Corbin, just the one? Should be two. Had a belt go out on the skid steer last week. Corbin returned his attention back to Jay. You need any heavy equipment work done, you come to me here. Cost you an arm and a leg to get someone from the city. That was for lumber, also. I'm gonna have to take you up on that offer. How much would it cost to clear about an acre of brush? About $250, maybe $3. I'd have to take a look at it, but it'll have to wait till tomorrow. So, Jay, Hal pulled a fully loaded pallet jack into the building. How you plan on getting this out of here? Jay sighed. One piece at a time, I guess. And Jay had never worked with planks before. It wasn't any more difficult than 4x8 plywood. It was actually easier. Mostly, it was just different and took more nails. Insulation was one of those, we'll order it and it'll show up next week things the general store did. What insulation existed in the cabin probably wasn't insulating anything. At least this structure would have less holes. Jay had always planned to build a tool shed when he got here. The difference was he was building a larger shed for himself instead. Tools would have to live inside the cabin. Cade Wells, the town's handyman, was putting together a cart for Jay, for a price obviously. It had become painfully obvious that transporting a quantity of anything the half-mile between the cabin and the post office, one piece at a time, wasn't going to work. Corbin had been paid to clear the driveway, which over time had become a thicket of brambles and small trees that was harder to traverse than the actual forest on either side of it, as well as an acre or so around the cabin. The old well had been located and the hand pump there actually still worked. Electricity was still going to be the biggest roadblock. Cade estimated the cost of on-grid power to be about $15,000. It just wasn't in the budget to install poles and run a power line. In the end, he settled for 2 decent generators and added learn about solar to his to-do list. The internet would be easier. $60 per month got him a dish on his roof that picked up signal from the cell tower. It wouldn't be the best connection, but a sure beat sitting in the library anytime he wanted to search how to do something. Still, that would have to wait a while. Once the shed was complete, his next step was to fix the outhouse. Currently it was functional, but open to the elements and not terribly inviting. Jay let out a sigh and picked up another plank. Lots of work. Lily shook off the excess water and collapsed her umbrella before entering the library. Outside may have been damp and chilly, but the interior was warm and inviting, if not unusually full. Towson had the town children in the room set aside for the classroom book-learning stuff. Toma and Shin Lee were in the far corner arguing about something or another in hushed whispers. In another corner was a family of tourists, people from the city who paid more money than Lil could ever fathom wasting just to experience small-town living for a week or two. Every year people showed up, and then they left, most of which never returned. Yet sitting at a table as far away from the tourists as possible was a familiar but still very new face. Lily dropped a pile of manga onto the counter. "Finished already?" asked Harrock as he got up from his computer, scanning the books. "Yep. You know, when I was a kid, we had superhero comics. There's still plenty of superhero stuff. I just like these better." There was no point in arguing the difference between manga and comics with the older man. In the end, the two were simply stories told with pictures and speech bubbles, so it didn't really matter. "I don't get how you read this stuff anyhow. It's like everything is backwards," Harrock mumbled more to himself than to Lily. Lily grinned. "Lily, have you met new guy yet?" "Nohana." "No, why?" "Lily, he's in the book box. Cool if I invite him over?" "Nohana, your place or mine?" "Lily, yours if he likes games, mine if he doesn't?" "Nohana, I guess." "Lily, great. Be there soon." Lily popped down in the chair across from Jay. She stifled a laugh as his head popped up from behind the laptop like a meerkat searching for danger. "Hey," Lily said. "Hello. What you doing?" "Learning about solar systems." Lily nodded sagely. "Hey, you play video games?" "I used to. Been too busy lately." "Are you doing anything important right now?" Jay gave the Talani girl a suspicious look. "Not really. Why?" "Great, you can hang out with me and Nohana. Sorry, Nohana and I." It's not really up for debate." Lily crossed her arms. "If you say no, let's just say I know a guy with a machete and a hockey mask." Jay's mouth opened and closed several times like a drowning fish. His mind clearly didn't stand a chance against Lily's superior logic and bad puns. "So hurry up and pack your stuff." But nothing. "Do you want to spend your rainy day playing games with 2 beautiful women?" Lily laughed as Jay turned a fun shade of red. Lily was short. She had a semi-soft but still lithe figure. Her long black tail dropped out from under her skirt and idly twitched and curled in a cat-like manner. Her hair was black, her skin was light purple, her ears were slightly pointed, and her eyes were golden. 5-inch long horns protruded straight up from the sides of her head. She wore calf-high black socks, a black pleated skirt, and a black T-shirt with an anime character Jay didn't recognize. The bottom hem of her skirt was cut at a slant, long on one side and so short on the other that her upper thigh was exposed. Other than that, she wore a lacy choker and a plain silver band on her right-hand ring finger. Jay hadn't met Nohana until this point, and in many ways she struck him as Lily's polar opposite. She was a head taller than Lily, with shoulder-length blonde hair, brown eyes, and a figure that was somewhere between athletic and curvy. Soft or doughy would be an apt description, but it was the attractive sort, so curvy beat out plump on the descriptive words. She was barefoot, but this was her apartment, and unlike Lily, she likely hadn't gone anywhere today. She wore tight blue jeans and had a chain necklace that disappeared under a light blue tank top. Despite her name, she didn't appear even the slightest bit Asian. Nohana's apartment was plain, a small kitchen with a countertop peninsula that served as the table, a living room equal in size to the kitchen, a small bathroom, and another room that was like the bedroom. Lily made it clear that her place next door was identical but mirrored. A single large window showed the rainy world outside. A large TV screen was mounted to the largest open wall. Under it was a game console. Next to that was a bookshelf filled to overflowing with games and a handful of DVDs. Both Nohana and Lily sat on, or perhaps a better description would be sat in, one of the two massive beanbag chairs, leaving the other for Jay. Nohana's idea of an introduction was throwing him a controller and asking if he liked zombie games. Jay hadn't played the game before, but the controls were intuitive, and the premise was simple to grasp. Basically, it was a zombie apocalypse sandbox. Find supplies, build defenses, and survive. Jay was mostly in charge of building and maintaining the defenses. Lily did most of the exploration, and Nohana was entirely focused on weapons and fighting. "Lil, one just got past me," said Nohana, her eyes glued to the screen. "I got it. Ow, I don't got it. Okay, I got it. Sometimes this game is like anal without the lube." "What?" Jay asked. "Ignore her," replied Nohana. "Her mind got stuck in the gutter years ago, and she hasn't gotten it out yet." "I'll stick you in the gutter," Lily mumbled. "Wave over. Jay, fix the fence. Lil, get to the hospital." "So, Jay, question that's been on everyone's mind, but I don't think anybody's had the balls to ask." Lily paused to kill a straggler with a crowbar. "Are you rich?" Jay chortled. "No, not at all. You get a palace stuff like every other day. I know, my brother's the mailman. I'm pretty much spending my life savings on getting things up and working." "That sounds like a stupid idea," Nohana added. "There's no work here." "Have you ever worked in a cubicle?" Jay asked. "No," said Lily. Sort of," said Nohana. "I figure even if I end up broke and homeless, it's still better than waking up every morning and contemplating suicide." Lily briefly tore her gaze from the screen and glanced at the man beside her. That got dark quick. "Some of the people I have to deal with, I wish I could travel through the phone and beat them within an inch of their pathetic lives." Lily turned her head to stare at the woman next to her. "Holy gods in hell, Hana, really?" "Nah, I get it," Jay replied. "I'm supposed to be doing customer support for orders and shit. Yesterday, some dumbass asked me what I was wearing." "That happen often?" "Often enough." "If it was me," started Lily, "I'd tell them I wasn't wearing anything." "If it was you, you'd quit within an hour," Nohana retorted. "I think we're getting off track. We were supposed to be interrogating the new guy, not talking about your horrible job. So inviting me over was a ploy to get things to gossip about?" "Mostly," Lily admitted. "Next wave is going to start soon," said Nohana. "Why move to the S end of nowhere? Because at 22 I was fat, miserable, and ready to retire and die?" Lily looked Jay over. "He was not fat. You're not fat." "Yeah?" "What do you mean by yeah? Fucking explain." "Okay, so I was sitting on the couch in the middle of the night watching TV with an empty bag of potato chips and half a beer. Infomercial starts. Guy says, 'Are you stressed out, suffering from burnout? Have a home full of stuff you don't care about and still owe money on? Are you fat? Unhappy? Does your diet consist of pizza, chips, and alcohol?' I was like, yes to all those. And he says if you answered yes to one or more of these questions, then you're unhealthy. I think he was selling vitamins or something." "Zombies inbound," said Nohana. "Okay, back to my previous statement of you not being fat. Well, I sold a bunch of stuff, joined a gym, ate better, started looking at my job as a means to an end instead of my punishment for existing, and started learning how to actually do things. About the time I got my shit together, my grandpa died, and nobody wanted the land. So I cashed out my retirement plan, and I'm here. There's more to it than that, but that's the basic story." "Fuck," yelled Lily. "I just got zombie rape. Fucking reverse necrophilia." Nohana sighed. "Keep your pants on." "I'm not wearing pants, Hannah." Lily turned to Jay. "You totally looked." "What about refrigeration?" asked Inspector Carlos Swanson. Jay would have expected an older, heavy-set, balding man, but Carlos was gaunt and lean and looked to be in his early 30s. He had a large mustache that wiggled when he spoke. Jay found it immensely distracting. "Product will be packed into a cooler and shipped within an hour or so after harvesting. Even if I had a refrigerator, he wouldn't see any use," Jay responded. The man nodded. "Water source?" "On a well. I haven't gotten that hooked up to an actual pump yet, though." If you're not using a municipal water supply, you'll have to have a certified water filter." Jay opened his phone and searched for certified water filter. Does this one work? That'll do, yes. Jay added it to his cart and hit buy. Did I need to call you back after that's been installed, or is ordering it good enough? Carlos looked towards his little blue economy car. Jay's question had been specifically selected. It was likely that the man made the exact same amount of money sitting in his office as he did driving the 2 hours out to the middle of nowhere. I think that's good. Everything seems up to code. Jay let out a long sigh of relief as he watched the inspector drive off. The building, which looked from the outside like a small shipping container, as well as the inspection fees, cost him roughly $25,000. All that so that he could legally put lettuce in plastic containers and roast coffee. The requirements and fees for government compliance were stupid, but at least it was over. He opened the doors to his government-certified food handling environment. A full third of his budget, a third of his life savings for a freaking kitchen he couldn't even cook lunch in. Lily was sitting in her preferred corner when the bell rang. She didn't bother taking her eyes away from her phone. "Lily," came the voice of the new guy. "Do you have any scales?" "Aisle 2, she replied, flipping to the next page of her manga, not finding even new guy worthy of pausing for. "No, I mean a kitchen scale." Check aisle 6, halfway down." Jay set something down on the counter and, regrettably, Lily had no choice other than to stop reading and do her job. She stared at him for a moment. "What's with the lab coat?" "I just got the high tunnel up and—" "Are you making meth?" "In a high tunnel?" "What?" Lily asked innocently. "I don't know how meth is made." "So, growing pot then?" "Why would I need a lab coat to grow pot?" Lily shrugged. "I'm growing lettuce." "Why would you need a lab coat to grow lettuce?" "The coat is part of the sterile environment requirements." Lily froze, a confused look plastered on her face. "But lettuce grows in the ground." "Yep." "How are you supposed to get a sterile environment?" Jay said nothing, just tapped the scale, indicating he wanted her to do her job and ring it up. "What am I missing?" she asked, still looking like a deer caught in the headlights. "Large companies make rules that they can afford to comply with, but are hard for the little guy. Then they pay politicians to pass the rules off as law," Jay replied as if it were obvious. "Nah, that can't be true." For a moment, Jay just stood there. "Maybe I just like the coat." That's 2714. "Hey, Jay," Lily said before he walked out. "What? Do you have more lab coats?" "Yeah, why? Could I borrow one?" "I guess. For what? Personal reasons?" Hal buttoned up his shirt, snapped the collar, and smoothed out the wrinkles. Checking himself over in the mirror, he gave an approving nod and entered the kitchen. Selena was busy cleaning the morning's dishes. He gave her a kiss, said his farewells, and walked out into the alleyway. The main streets of Benton Cove were pedestrian-only cobblestones, set into pleasing patterns. Most of the businesses surrounded the town square. Behind those lay most of the houses and the few parking lots that were needed to serve the population and the tourists. Like every morning, Hal first entered the Holton's General Store. "Morning, Squirt." Lily was in her usual place, staring at her cell phone. Sitting at the counter that made up the coffee bar were Megan and Harrock. Both looked up from a mess of papers and greeted him. "What are you two plotting now?" Hal asked. "Summer festival," replied Harrock. "Need to figure out who's coming and where we're going to put them." Lily dropped his morning cup of coffee onto the counter. $3. $3? Why is my sister trying to rob me? Lily rolled her eyes. "Just trust me." "It's fancy coffee," Megan said, though she at least gave us the option of the normal stuff. Hal sniffed the black liquid. It smelled... Hal really couldn't put a word on it. Different wasn't quite correct. It smelled like coffee, just more. Like Lily had somehow managed to distill the scent of a freshly opened can into a single cup. The taste was good, bitter like coffee was supposed to be, but more than that. Earthy and smooth came to mind, but it still didn't fit. Again, it was simply the way coffee was supposed to be. It just tasted more like, well, coffee. "Good, yeah?" asked Lily, staring at him intently. $2 good. I don't know about $3. Where'd you get it? Stole it from new guy? Hal gave his little sister a look only she understood. She sighed. "I talked him into selling me a bag for basically wholesale." "He's ordering fancy coffee?" It seemed odd. He hadn't placed Mr. Higgs as that wealthy. The guy was just a kid. Well, a kid in the same way Lily was. At some point, he was going to have to admit that she wasn't a kid anymore. but that would also be admitting that he wasn't a kid anymore. At what point does a guy stop thinking of himself as a kid? No, he's ordering raw coffee beans, roasting them, and slapping a massive price tag on fancy bags. What's he plan to do with it then? Asked Harlock. Probably sell it to the tourists. That's what I would do, replied Megan. What she said, I guess, Lily said. Maybe he wants a booth at the festival, Harlock said, throwing the question out to the others. Now I'll ask him, replied Hal before taking another sip of coffee. I want to see this chemical water garden thing of his anyway. Hydroponics, Lily corrected. It's just those plastic pallet tub bin things he's been getting in. The ones that are always full of stuff, he just fills them with water and plant food. The plants sit on floating foam boards. That's literally all it is. Plants grow in the dirt, Megan retorted. Lily shrugged. That's what I said, but apparently they can also grow in water. I'd call it hocus pocus, but nobody does magic anymore. Darrow does magic, Harlock chimed in. Megan frowned. I meant other than healing. Hal stood up, reluctantly handing Lily the $3 she conned him out of. Selena knows a spell to start a fire. So do I. Megan fished out a lighter and waved it around. Ooh, magic. Hal rolled his eyes. I bow down to your mastery of the arcane, Miss Holton. See you around, Squirt. Hal heard Megan chuckled as he left with his coffee cup in hand. It was a beautiful sunny day. The cold chill of winter was completely gone and the oppressive heat of summer was still a month or so away. The world was green and alive with the chirping of birds and the distant sound of Mr. Quigley's lawnmower backfiring. A single circuit of town brought Hal to the post office just as the day's truck was swinging around to the back. He signed for the pallets and, once off the truck, began sorting. A pallet for the store, junk mail for him, letters for Miss Fox, a package for Nohana, and a small package for Mr. Higgs. Hal pushed the pallet jack under the load for the store and began dragging it to its destination for his little sister to deal with. Mail rounds took a few hours. Lots of time for all the hey how you doin's and nice weather we're havin's. The resort was nearly full of tourists with all their why is that police officer delivering mail or why is the mailman carrying a gun looks. Finally, it was time to deliver Mr. Higgs's package. Left for last simply because he was the furthest out of town. A lot had changed since Jay came to town. Hal hadn't seen the half-mile-long driveway of the old Coruscant place so clear of trees and shrubs since he was in his teens. The yard had been cleared out and was starting to green. A large white high-tunnel greenhouse dominated the clearing, followed by a shipping container, a newer-looking shed, and the old cabin. The latter still looked worse for wear. Hal supposed it wasn't the highest priority. Jay was standing behind an outdoor counter. Two tourists, a man and a woman, both human, sat on stools sipping from large coffee mugs. If you've ever made popcorn, then you're familiar with the moment where after the first few kernels pop, the whole thing goes. Coffee is pretty much the same, except it's more of a crack than a pop. Pretty much anything after the first crack is called a light roast. Usually this means less flavor, but more caffeine. The tourist nodded along with Jay's presentation. Now, if you keep roasting, coffee beans hit a point where they will crack again. Anything before this point is considered a medium roast, and anything after is a dark roast. What you're currently trying was pull off the heat the moment the second crack started. It's good, the man chimed in. The beans then need to be immediately cooled to stop the roasting process. Then they need to off-gas for a day or two. You can drink it immediately after roasting, but it's smoother if you give it time to rest. So, how much are you selling this for? Asked the woman. Oh, this I would sell for about $30 per pound. That much, scoffed the man. Yeah, this isn't an everyday coffee. It's a hot cup and a good book on an early spring morning kind of thing. That said, I can't legally sell you this roast. What? Why not? Well, the beans are roasted in a kalaha, or a type of wok, over an open fire. They were then cooled in this clean natural air and left off gas in an oak box at the current humidity level. All those things give the coffee its character, but the government says it's not safe. Not safe? Asked the woman, slight concern evident on her face. Yeah, for instance, there's a certain level of dust allowed in the air used to cool the beans. In the building, it's a lot easier to measure that. That said, most dust out here is pollen, whereas most dust in the building is... Jay looked at the two. Well, it's not pollen. The couple stole a glance at each other. So you don't sell coffee? I do. Some people can't tell the difference between this and the machine-roasted stuff, but I can, and even though it costs me more to do it the government's way, the quality just isn't there, so I can't charge as much. Jay looked up at Hal. The gaze of the two tourists followed. Hal held up a package. Jay motioned to the shed and went back to talking to his guests. Hal dropped off the box and walked back to town. He'd make a circuit of town and try again later. Once the tourists passed through town, heading back to the big lake resort, Hal made his way back up the winding driveway. "Morning." Jay looked up from the well pump. "Good morning. Sorry for walking up on you while you were busy." "Oh, it's not a problem. What'd you need?" "Summer festival coming up. Harrock wanted to know if you wanted to put up a booth, and I personally just wanted to see the water garden." "Water garden?" "Oh, sure." Jay started towards the high tunnel. "When is the festival?" 3 weeks from now. Bunch of people show up in the morning. There'll be games, plays, food, old 9 yards. "Sounds good. What do I need for a booth?" Hal shrugged. "You'll have to talk to Harrock." They entered the high tunnel. Large plastic bins lined each side. Most had foam boards filled with multiple pots. Not all the bins were filled, and it looked like each bin was at a slightly different stage of growth than the next. "Well, this is it," Jay said, arms outstretched. "Obviously you're familiar with the plastic bins. They're a bit pricey, but they stack. They're easily moved with a pallet jack, even when full, and at only 24 inches deep, they don't need so much water. Each one has an air pump to keep the water oxygenated. Plant roots need oxygen, or they'll start to rot." Jay lifted one of the rafts, showing a couple foam strips that kept the larger foam boards out of the water. "These keep a small portion of the roots out of the water, so even if I run out of power, I should have a day or so before anything has a problem. Each bin has staggered growth. I'll be harvesting twice a week once the first bins reach maturity, and that's basically it." Hal nodded along. "How do they stay alive?" "The substrate and the net pots hold the plants in place like soil. The water has a mixture of minerals that the plants require to grow. The only other ingredient is sunlight." "And this is profitable?" "Yeah, I do have a guy in the city that basically has everything you see here already sold. The whole system should pay for itself in about a year, even with shipping, and my friend's commission. That said, it'll take several years for it to pay off the kitchen I needed for legal reasons." "So you do have a stable income." "Until about mid-fall. Part of selling coffee to the tourists is about expanding repeat business." "What about winter?" Jay shrugged. "My biggest obstacle right now is setting up the basic systems and making enough to survive. Next spring I can hit the ground running. Plant starts for nurseries, expanding coffee sales, maybe some value-add stuff. Right now it's just the basics." Hal nodded and took another look. "Well, thanks for showing me." "Yeah, no problem." "One more thing," Hal said as he exited the greenhouse. "I think you're all right. As long as you can support yourself, you have my permission to date my sister." Jay stood in the doorway, his less-growing operation behind him. Okay." Hal grinned to himself as he left the old course in place and its new resident. It sure was a nice day out. Summer. The sound of cicadas was drowned out by the roar of well over 100 people talking, laughing, and making all the other noises that came with a mob. While most of the local booths were set up yesterday, a semi and a bus rolled in earlier in the morning filled with people and gear. Suddenly, the town square was a small fairground filled with game booths, outdoor kitchens, art displays, and the smell of overly priced and overly greasy fair food. Hot on the heels of these people came the buses full of city people, either for the summer festival itself or the sandy beach of the big lake. Jay's original plan was to serve coffee samples and hopefully sell off some of the $20 bags he had stocked up. He soon found himself in a nonstop rush to serve overpriced cups of coffee to people who wanted to drink right now, not tomorrow. At some point, Lily and Nohana started helping. Well, Nohana was helping. She was wearing light gray cargo pants, a yellow tank top that had open sides, a sports bra or something of that sort to hide what the tank top wasn't, and a red baseball cap. She was looking good, and Jay was sure that it was helping sales. Lily was in a light blue summer dress that showed a lot of shoulder and leg, as well as a wide-brimmed straw hat with openings for her horns. She was doing the far less important job of sitting in a canvas chair in the shade with her bare feet propped up on Nohana's chair. Occasionally, the Talani girl would shift or twitch, Nohana would glare at her, and Lily would give the blonde a shit-eating grin. Jay was missing something, but he was too busy to ask about it. Jay flopped down into the grass with his back against an oak tree. "Abyssal hell," he said, slouching into the trunk and hanging his head. "I can't believe we sold that much coffee," remarked Nohana. "I can't believe I'm out of coffee." Lily, still staring at her cell phone, gave them a thumbs up. "Great work, guys." "Fuck you," Nohana spat back. Lily looked up. "What? Right here?" Nohana glared at her. Lily grinned. Jay looked to Nohana. "How much?" 1,705. "Abyssal hell," Jay said again with more enthusiasm. "I should give up roasting coffee and be a barista." "Not here," mumbled Lily, Benton Cove's only barista, if someone working a single coffee machine at the general store counted as a barista. "Keep 200 for yourself." "Ooh, that's more than I make at work. Are you hiring?" Jay shook his head. "Maybe next year." "What's my cut?" Lily asked. "You didn't do anything," snapped Nohana. "I brought the cups. I already paid for the cups." "Yeah, but not the service of purchasing them from a closed store." She technically had him there. $5? "A pleasure doing business with you." Lily stretched. "Lots of cleanup tomorrow," she said, breaking the moment's peace. "You might be out of coffee, but that stand over there still has funnel cakes." Nohana motioned with her chin. Jay sighed. He couldn't deny the seductive allure of a funnel cake. Lily pushed herself onto her toes and reached for the ceiling in a glorious early morning stretch. Once that task was complete, she threw open the curtains to reveal dark skies and steady rain. Guess that was thunder." She turned to glare at her clock. "Guess I slept in." Lily then dashed through the kitchen and out the door, her tail performing the inherently learned serpentine motion necessary to avoid getting crushed between the door and its frame. Lily cringed even before the door slammed shut. "Fuck!" she hissed. "Lily?" came the voice of an older woman from behind the door across the hall. "Sorry, Miss Fox." Lily crept up on Nohana's door, gave it 2 soft knocks, and placed her ear to the wood. No sound. She slid her key into the lock and poked her head in. "Hana, you home?" The room was dark and empty. "Right, it's Wednesday, isn't it?" Quietly, she closed and relocked the door. Entering her own apartment and remembering not to let the door slam shut this time, Lily surveyed her home. Lily: "Hey, it's raining out. Want to hang out?" Jay: "Roasting coffee right now. In 2 hours, okay?" Lily: "Sure. Want breakfast?" Jay: "I won't say no." Lily: "Any preferences?" Jay: "Not pancakes." Lily: "What the fuck do you have against pancakes?" Jay: "They're easy to cook on a stove and need no refrigeration, so I eat them almost every day." Lily: "Okay, I guess that makes sense. Sausage and French toast okay?" Jay: "Yes, please." "Morning," said Lily to Jay as he stood in the doorway looking for all the world like a wet cat. The umbrella had kept his upper half dry, but he was soaked from the knees down. "Good morning," he began, pulling his shoes off. "Thanks for inviting me over." "Not a problem. Henna's at work and I had nothing to do, so I thought, why not hang with the one person in town who can't do anything when it's raining? To be fair, I can at least spend the day roasting coffee now." "And you'd rather be roasting coffee than hang with me?" Jay gave her a look that said, "I'm here, aren't I?" "Never mind. Come in, I'll start the food." This really is a mirror of Nohana's place. Only the furnishings in Lily's apartment were different. Where Nohana's home was clean and lightly decorated, Lily's was a chaotic mess of anime posters, figurines, and fabric. The wall in Nohana's apartment that was dominated by her video games and console. Here it was taken up by a sewing machine, laptop computer, and haphazard pile of scrap fabric. "What's with the sewing machine?" he asked. Lily looked up at him. "Where do you think I get my skirts?" She gave a swing of her hips, making the pleated skirt sway. "I thought you bought them." "Nope, I make most of my clothes. Mom taught me when I was like 12. I make some cosplay stuff, too." "Cosplay?" "Yep, I hit the convention in the city every year." "Huh, never been to one. Kind of just thought it was a bunch of sweaty nerds." Lily glared at him. "Sorry." The small wall held a large bookshelf stuffed with manga. Jay wandered in that direction, looking over the titles. May I? He asked before touching. Yeah, just don't get them out of order. Jay pulled out a single book and cracked the cover. You like manga? Jay shrugged. I like graphic novels, not really famous superheroes, so yes, but not specifically. Billy dropped several pieces of egg and cream-soaked bread onto a griddle. Got a favorite? Jay went to put the book back when he noticed there was another layer behind the first. The books had different cover art, so they were likely a different series. I'd say more Egg City Tales, but I guess it depends on your definition of manga. Yeah, I've read it. Dark and gritty, kind of, noir, I think. Jay nodded as he fished out one of the rear books. That timely guy ravaged by slimes? No! Jay wasn't sure how Lily had gotten to his side of the counter so quickly, but the book was ripped out of his hand and she was pushing it back into its place. First layer, you can only touch the first layer. Sorry. Lily slowly returned to her place at the griddle. Jay quietly pulled a different book out. There was still more in the back. So, how often does someone do that? Look at the back row, I mean. No one. No one has ever given enough fucks to take a book off the first row. Known a clotted company, or is it just no one else in this town likes this stuff? Both. Nana? Doesn't care for it, Billy said, dropping the finished French toast onto a plate and sliding Jay's portion over to him. She mostly just plays video games. So we can either break into Humma's place and raid her game cabinet, or watch anime. I'm fine with anime, but nothing too long. I'd hate to start a series and not have time to finish it. Sure, but then I could get here every time it rains. But the more I get done, the less the rain prevents me from getting other shit done. You'd rather work than hang with me? But I need to work. I seem to be slipping on my powers of seduction, Lily said with an evil grin. Nat 20 on will save? Jay responded with a grin of his own. Lily's smile faded. What? Natural 20 on will save. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Oh, you poor kid. Lily. Text me when you don't work. Nohana. Done with work. Lily. Binging Dungeon City with new guy. Wanna join us? We have pizza. Nohana. Going to pass. Have fun. Lily. So new guy used to do this thing where he would run a role-playing game with dice and paper. He's explaining how we could literally play in Dungeon City. Wanna try it? Nohana. Yeah, sure, just not today. Lily. Great. And are you okay? Nohana. Fine. Lily frowned as she paused the shell. What's up? Jay asked. Shh. Listening for Hana. Jay held still and listened. About a minute later, someone could be heard moving down the hallway. Lily jumped up and ran out the door when they could identify the sound of a key hitting a lock. There was hushed arguing that moved from the hallway into Nohana's apartment. Jay found himself in Lily's home completely alone. It was a little awkward. Just when he was considering getting up, the sound of arguing re-entered the hallway. Lily burst through the door, dragging an annoyed blonde behind her. She was wearing a blue tank top and yellow-orange short shorts. Jay realized at that moment that he had never seen Nohana's legs before, and she had damn nice legs. Actually, Nohana was kind of hot. It was a revelation that hit him just as Lily pushed the blonde down onto the cushion next to him. He had always pegged the girl as attractive, so why was it only now that he thought of her as hot? Lily shut the door and pulled a beer out of the fridge. She cracked it open and thrust it at Nohana. The blonde took it while glaring at Lily. The purple-skinned girl plopped down next to her human friend and hit play on the DVD player. Jay felt acutely aware of Nohana's presence. Maybe it was the humidity, as she seemed to radiate a slightly sweaty odor that mixed with whatever shampoo she used. It was intoxicating. Her smooth, curvy figure existed next to him, and he spent the rest of the afternoon trying damn hard not to look. Damn biology. Lily drew in a deep breath and let a shudder run through her body. The forest was beautiful. Green-tinted sunlight hit her light purple skin under the shade of the canopy. The air was warm with a gentle, cooling breeze coming off the big lake. Birds chirped, squirrels chattered, cicadas and other insects set a constant background melody. The footfalls of deer could be heard. No, not deer. They were too heavy. Lily turned her head and cursed. She frantically scrambled to get her cell phone. knocking it off the log and into the detritus below. Lily frowned, landing on her knees with a shudder and trying desperately with shaking hands to deactivate the Bluetooth-connected devices. "Lily, are you okay?" Jay asked. Lily took in a deep breath, steadied herself, and picked herself off the ground. "You scared the shit out of me. What the hell are you doing in the middle of the woods?" Jay looked over his shoulder towards his property. He couldn't see it from here, but it was due to the trees, not distance. Samuel looked towards town. "I wouldn't call this the middle of the woods," Samuel stated dryly. Lily brushed off her skirt and looked the two over. Samuel was carrying a chainsaw. Jay had a large hammer, some wedges, and a battery-powered reciprocating saw. Both were dressed for manual labor, complete with heavy boots and work gloves. "Right, well, I'll find a quieter place to be. Have fun." The two men watched the Trelawney girl walk off awkwardly, her tail twitching spasmodically. "She's a weird one," Samuel said as they continued to the dead tree they had marked out the day before. Samuel was short, had sandy brown hair that almost matched his sun-soaked brown skin, and wore large Coke bottle glasses. Long and gangly in appearance, if it wasn't for his quartered muscles and obvious tan lines, he would have looked like a stereotypical description of a nerd. Sam was far from it, though. He preferred living outside and made his living teaching rich city people how to start fires with sticks and stones. In the winter months, he left to work in the ski resorts up north. "Yeah," Jay agreed. "Kind of fun, though." The two began clearing the obstacles from the base of the dead tree and decided on exit paths. "She's always with Nohana, and Nohana's fucking hot." "Yeah," Jay agreed with a laugh. "During the last thunderstorm, I ended up sitting next to her while she was in short shorts." Sam nodded. "Wait until you catch her in her swimsuit. There's nothing particularly special about it, other than her body trying to escape the damn thing." "And too small?" Jay asked. "I don't think so. She's just like the perfect amount of body fat, you know?" "Yeah, I know. Second hottest girl in town." "Second." "Amanda was the hottest," Samuel said, nodding as if to confirm his statement. "I don't know who that is." "Billy's sister." "I didn't know she had a sister." "Wait, no, Hal mentioned it once." "I don't think they're on good terms. I might have left and just never came back." "Oh, but damn was she good looking. If Nohana is the girl next door, Amanda was runway supermodel." "Huh." Samuel pulled on the chainsaw's cord. It choked, sputtered, and died. "Seriously, I'd put Lily as generally attractive. But she's kind of the ugly duckling in the family." He gave the cord another pull. "The girls are always falling head over heels for Hal." This time the chainsaw almost stayed on. He stopped pulling. "Thing about Nohana is she doesn't seem interested in anyone. I personally think Lily's bi and Nohana friend-zoned her years ago like everyone else." "It's hard to tell with women," Jay responded. Samuel nodded. "Yeah, that's true." He pulled the line and the saw roared to life. Samuel said something else, but his words were lost through the noise. Lily heard the key hit her lock and the bolt open. She spun around and greeted Nohana, posing with a frying pan and apron, stars swirling around her. She quickly dropped her anime-styled perception of reality when she noticed the dark cloud and angry aura of Nohana. What'd I do this time?" Lily asked. "Samuel asked me to check on you," Nohana said coldly. "He seems to think you were in the woods getting high." I wasn't. I know you weren't. I know what you were doing, and I distinctly remember having this discussion after the summer festival," Nohana growled. Yeah? And you promised not to do lewd shit in public." "I wasn't in public," Lily retorted. "I was in the woods. I didn't know New Guy and Sam were going to walk up on me while playing lumberjacks." Nohana buried her face in her hands. "I didn't know it was more than just Sam." "I'm totally gonna ship those two." Nohana snatched Lily by the horns, getting full control of her head. "Listen to me," she demanded. Lily didn't fight the angry blonde. "You're going to make me a promise, okay? Okay? Repeat. I, Liliana Ileana Fisher. I, Liliana Ileana Fisher." Lily always knew she was in deep shit when Anna used her full name. Just like her mother, come to think of it. "Promise not to do lewd shit in public," Nohana continued. "Promise not to do lewd shit in public. I will keep it to my apartment. I will keep it to our apartments unless you say otherwise." Lily grinned. Nohana grit her teeth. She pushed Lily's head down and away, close enough. Lily stood up straight and massaged the area where her horns connected to her skull. Nana glared at her. Lily gave the blonde large, golden puppy-dog eyes. Nana's expression softened. She let out a long sigh. "You're lucky you're cute. Are you gonna cheat me?" Jay finished loading his cart of lettuce into the cooler. The door was closed, the deadbolt locked, and Hal pushed the cooler onto the truck. When the truck door was shut, the driver pulled out and began his 2-hour trip back to the city. "You profitable yet?" Hal asked conversationally. "Running just under $500 a month." Hal frowned. "That's not much." Jay shrugged. "I have no house payment, no electricity bill, and no internet bill at the moment. This will pay my cell phone insurance and taxes for the year. I do sell coffee as well. That's just gonna have to be enough food this winter. I also still have some savings, but that's set aside for expansion next spring." Hal nodded. "I suppose that works." He shut the loading bay doors once Jay pushed his cart out of the post office. "So, about this game you're playing with my sister, Nohana. Yeah? That's not the one about demon worshipping, is it?" Jay stared at Hal for a long moment, trying to tell if the guy was being serious or not. He couldn't tell, so he just asked, "Are you being serious right now?" Hal frowned. "Of course." Jay took a deep breath. "The gun on your belt, is it evil?" Hal's brow furrowed. "Of course not. It's just a thing." "Well, the game I'm running uses a system of rolling various dice to determine the success or failure of actions. Like flipping a coin. It would be possible for a demon worshipper to use it in starting some type of cult, but it's just as possible as a demon worshipper using a gun to start a cult. Does that make sense?" Hal nodded. "Just checking. I promise I'm not a demon worshipper. You can sit in on one of these games if you want." Silverware clinked against plates as the Fisher family sat around a fully extended dining table. The serving of food was full of thank yous, here you goes, and please pass the gravies. Oh my gods, Milana. How do you get the yams like this?" Selena asked. "Secret family recipe," quipped the matriarch of the family. Selena looked up at her with hesitation in her eyes, wondering if she wasn't considered family. "I'm joking, Selena. I'll show you later." "So, Lily," Hal stated, "how was yesterday's game?" Lily opened her mouth to speak, finished chewing. One of her fathers snapped. Lily finished chewing and swallowed before him. "It was awesome. We were clearing out a mausoleum. Some death cultist idiot thought it would be a good idea to raise a bunch of Unget or something. Noana is a paladin, so getting through the zombies was pretty easy, but the boss was a tricky fucker." "Lily," snapped her other father. "Sorry, he was a tricky guy." "This is one of Nohana's video games?" Balana asked. "No, it's pen and paper. So on a Vibi game, you're limited to what the programmers put in, but with this, you can basically do anything you want." "And Jay just makes up what happens?" Hal clarified. "Mostly, yeah, depending on what the dice say." "Oh, speaking of Jay," Milana got up from the table and wandered into her home office. Lily looked at Hal. Hal shrugged. "So," said Lily's non-biological father, "you're spending a lot of time alone with the new kid." "Some. Not as there most of the time." "The three of you?" "Yeah, we're not exactly having a threesome." "Lily!" snapped both her brother and her mother, who had come out with a photo album. Selena stifled a giggle. How could have had any girl he came across and somehow managed to fall for one that was plain-looking and actually found Lily amusing? "So, not dating?" "No, Dad, we're not dating." He looked over to his son. "Just seems like a decent guy," Hal replied to the unasked question. "I think what your father is trying to say, dear, is that you are getting any younger." "So you want me to have a threesome?" "Lily!" chorused the family. "Sorry, don't piss off your mother." "I said sorry." "Anyway," Melina said, clearing off a place on the table for the photo album, "I saw Jay the other day wearing a blue t-shirt, and I had one of those deja vu moments. So I went through some old pictures and... where is it? Right here." Milana put a finger on a photo of 4 children. A 4-year-old Lily holding an ice cream cone waving at the camera. A 5-year-old Samuel, who didn't yet have his glasses, also holding an ice cream cone. Claire at 7 with a bowl, and an unknown boy at about 6 with unruly brown hair and coal black eyes in a blue t-shirt, also with ice cream. The kid did resemble Jay. "Huh," said Lily. "I remember that." "You were so cute back then." Honestly, I just remember that he was here visiting family and now with the tourists. Lily continued to look over the image. It probably actually was Jay. He had mentioned that he had spent a week with his grandfather when he was 6. Kid in the picture looked to be about the right age. It was a neat coincidence. Nothing meaningful, though. It's destiny, Balana affirmed. Lily rolled her eyes. We thank you for our food. We thank you for our family. Please continue to watch over Nathan and guide him in his continued successes. Nohana's mother prayed. Nathan doesn't need guidance. He's smart enough to do it himself, Nohana quietly thought to herself. We pray for your divine guidance to help Nohana find a good man. Nohana winced. We pray for your divine guidance to guide us in being good people. Nathan doesn't believe in this crap. That's half the reason he isn't here, Nohana screamed in her mind. And we pray for your divine guidance for our community. May it never go astray. Amen. Amen, repeated Nohana and her father in unison. Finally, they could eat. Nada loaded up on ham and potatoes and waited for the inevitable. So, her mother started, here we go. Any interests in Mr. Higgs? Santa Monica's last time we asked Mom, Nana poked at her ham. He's okay. Yes, I hear he's a nice guy, but I asked if you were interested in him. Nohana looked to her father for help. He would, but only after his wife had interrogated their daughter enough that he could get away with it. Nohana shrugged. Her mother sighed. I'm just worried you're going to miss your chance. That Miss Fisher might steal him away from you. What if he and Millie are a better fit? Nohana asked, happy to implant the idea into her mother's head. Have you tried online dating? Her mother suggested. Aren't you worried I'll end up with some freak? There's that. Silence. Sweet silence. I just want you to find a good man to make you happy. Nada sighed. What happened to the silence? You're too young for a boyfriend. Her father finally chimed in. Thanks, Dad. He gave his daughter a smile. She's 22, Nohana's mother reminded her husband. She only has 8 more years of good childbearing in her. Nohana poked at her ham some more. She just wanted to go back to her apartment, turn on one of her first-person shooters, and kill some 13-year-old kid in another poli. Her mother gave her one of those mother-knows-best smiles. At least go on a date with the guy, okay? Sure, Nana acquiesced. Arguing was futile. Lily knocked twice and pressed her ear to Nohana's door. Dead silence responded. She moved to her own door and slid the key into the lock. The building's main door opened. Lily waited as the footsteps revealed the tired-looking Nohana. The blonde gave Lily a weak smile. Grilled about getting a boyfriend again? Nohana slid the key into her lock. Yeah, you? Lily shrugged. I guess. It's not the same, though. Well, got work tomorrow. I'm tired. Silence hung in the hallway. Neither of the two moved. Want to watch a movie? Lily suggested. Sure, give me 15 minutes. It's a date, then. Nohana frowned. Lily considered what she was going to say to Jay when she was close enough to be heard. Many iterations went through her mind, but she eventually settled on, Holy gods in hell, Jay, what have you done? Jay looked up at her and let out a small chuckle. The foundation of the old cabin had been fixed up, but aside from the floor that Jay was currently nailing in place, the whole damn thing was gone. Behind where the cabin used to be was a haphazard pile of crappy wood, a slightly more organized pile of less crappy wood, and a nearly perfect pile of new wood, likely from Corbin's mill. Jay shrugged. It just wasn't worth trying to fix. Lily tapped one of the new floor joists. So, what's up? Jay asked, moving over towards Lily and dangling his legs over the edge. I have the day off, Nohana doesn't, and I'm bored, so I thought I'd come over here and bug you. Well, I'm not doing anything terribly important. Want to take a walk? Lily thought about it for a moment and nodded. Yeah, sounds good. It was one of those perfect summer days. Lazy clouds occasionally covered the sun, casting massive shadows over the world below, only to move on and let the light drench the ground like a downpour. It was hot, but the breeze off the big lake was cool. The birds and insects sang the songs of deep summer, and tourists played on the beaches, leaving the town in a relative peace. They made a few circuits around town and out to some of the random places only the locals knew about before returning to Jay's property. He cracked the beer and sat on the edge of the cabin floor, talking about everything and simultaneously talking about nothing. Lily liked being around Jay. He was the kind of accepting and decent person she could consider dating. He didn't berate her for her language or shy away from her crass humor and perverted comments, and often he would play along. Maybe it was the summer atmosphere. Maybe it was their closeness. Maybe it was the small amount of alcohol in the cans of beer Jay called swill. Lily leaned closer, her golden eyes locked onto his cold black ones. She wanted just a taste of his lips. When they were mere inches apart, she realized just what the fuck she was doing. "Oh shit," she said, pulling away and grabbing her horns. She pulled her head down towards her knees. "I have to go." Emotion cracks in her voice as she dumped down from the short wall. "Lily? Jay's voice died as the Teleni girl ran down his driveway back towards town. Jay sat there trying to figure out what he had done wrong and what he should do about it. In the end, he just didn't know. Nohana was the next girl to walk up his driveway. Jay had put himself back to work assembling the floor. It was helping him think through the day's events, though he still hadn't come up with any answers. Nohana was wearing a pair of tight blue jeans and a tank top. It was highly likely she didn't own anything other than tank tops. The pretty blonde girl stopped at the edge of the cabin and looked at the various woodpile. "You tore it down?" It wasn't really a question. "Yep, what's up?" "Have you seen Lily? I can't find her and she's not answering her cell phone. Thought maybe I'd find her here." "She came by this morning. We spent most of the day together and she ran off about an hour ago. I think I pissed her off or something." Nohana cocked an eyebrow. "You pissed her off?" She sounded skeptical. "How?" "Well, I thought we were about to kiss." Jay raised his hands and gave the blonde a confused look. "And she ran off upset." "Ah, I see." Nada nodded. "I know where she is. Thanks, and don't worry about it. She's not mad at you." Jay watched as Nohana walked off back towards town. "Okay, so I didn't do anything wrong?" Lily heard the footsteps. She didn't move, just continued to look out over the rocks and across the big lake. The distant shore was too far to be seen even on a clear day such as this. The waves lapped against the rocks in a calming rhythm. An inland sea of fresh water so large one could practically make out the curve of the planet. Nohana sat down next to Lily and looked out over the rocky beach to the blue-green waters beyond. "How'd you know I was here?" Lily asked quietly. "I talked to Jay. He seemed confused. I told him not to worry about it." Lily grabbed hold of Nohana and buried her face in Nohana's chest. "I'm sorry," she cried. The blonde wrapped her arms around the little Telani girl. "It's okay, Liliana. It's okay." Nohana opened her closet, picked out a tank top, thought about the color, and then put it back. As the hangers moved, she caught a quick flash of the neck of her guitar. She pushed the hangers out of the way so she could take a good look at it. Long and black, with four thick metal strings leaning against its amp. Nohana sighed, put the hangers back, picked out a white tank top, and closed the closet door. She opened the closet door, moved the clothes, and picked up the bass guitar. She pulled on the thick A string and let it snap. The solid, deep sound of the chord reverberated. She put the guitar back, shut the door. Nohana flopped down into her beanbag chair and stared at her game console. She got up, pulled the guitar out of the closet again, and returned to her seat. A minute of tuning the instrument later, and she had it sounding correct. Nohana pressed the fingers of her left hand against the strings and plucked at the metal chords with her right. The quiet rhythm of the dull-sounding strings filled the tiny apartment. If only she could use the amp. Maybe if she turned it to the lowest volume, or if she sat on it, then perhaps she could feel the music, make her bones vibrate. She pulled at the strings. "Why don't you play a feminine instrument, like a flute or violin?" Nohana growled to herself, pulling at the strings and making the dull, unamped sound of the milled chords sing. "Why don't you find a nice man and have a happy life? Why don't you wear a dress? Why don't you participate more in church? Video games are for boys. Lily is a bad influence. Why can't you be more like your brother?" Nohana wrenched the strings on the bass guitar. Its only reply to the abuse was to emit a dark thrum. Athena ran away from you, mother. Nohana swore when she heard a knock on her door. "Nohana, are you okay?" came the sweet old voice of her neighbor. She set the guitar against the wall and opened the door a few inches. "I'm fine, Miss Fox. Sorry to bother you. You had me worried, dear." Nohana gave the old woman a pleasant smile. "Thank you for checking up on me. I'll try to be quieter." Nohana relocked the door and stared at her guitar. If only she could play it the way it was meant to be played. Loud enough to feel it. You know why Lily likes the new guy. The instrument didn't respond. No expectations. He showed up and learned what people were like, and then expected them to be themselves. He didn't grow up here. He doesn't have an opinion on how we should have ended up. Nohana paced her apartment. He's an outsider, like Selena. Selena doesn't berate Lily for having no filter on the shit she says because Selena never met the innocent little girl. She only knows Lily as she is now. Nohana continued pacing. The guitar continued to say nothing because it was a guitar. And I bet Jay would let me play you. He's probably far enough out. She stared hard at the instrument, her shoulders slumped. I guess I could at least ask. Nohana stood in front of the mirror and looked herself over. Chain necklace that disappeared into a white tank top, khaki-colored capris, and a pair of comfortable sneakers. No dresses, no skirts, no frilly bits. She didn't care for that shit. She gave the girl in the mirror a nod. Today she would play her guitar. She would play it loud enough to feel it in her bones, make her chest thrum, make her teeth vibrate, play it the way it was meant to be played. Vijay was setting boards out on the floor he had finished installing the day previous. Nohana waited for him to finish. "What's up?" he asked. "I wanted to know if he'd let me play my guitar out here. It's too loud for my apartment." "Fine by me. Acoustic or electric?" "Electric. I'm gonna need the generator for a while every few hours or so." Nohana nodded. That's fine." Jay gave her a thumbs up and lined a couple boards up and hammered them together. Do you need help?" Jay shrugged. "I don't need help, but I won't say no if you're offering." Nohana jumped up onto the floor and looked down at the boards. "So," Jay started, pointing at the longer board that ran the length of the floor, "this is the bottom plate. I've got it all marked out. All I needed to do is grab a stud," he kicked one of the many boards lying parallel to each other, "place the end against the bottom plate on the X, and line up the edge with the line." Nohana grabbed one of the boards, pushed it up against the longer board, and used her hand to tap one edge to the line, covering the X. "Like this?" she asked. "Just like that." Jay put his foot on the board to hold it still and hammered a couple nails into it. "Stop if you see a J or a K instead of an X." "What are those supposed to be?" she asked as she tapped another board into place. "Jack and King studs. It's where a window goes, and there are a few extra things that need to be done." He hammered in a few more nails. 30 minutes later, Nohana was helping. Jay walked the wall into a standing position. He hammered it into position while she held it up, and with a couple braces, one wall was standing on its own. "Damn, is there anything you don't know how to do?" Nohana asked. "Lots of shit. I've been helping build stuff since I was 8, but most of the other stuff I just learn online and try until it works." "Ah, so is there anything you can't do?" Jay thought about that one for a moment. "Music. I can learn to read sheet music. I can learn to mechanically play an instrument, but I can't." He waved a hand in the air. "I don't even know how to explain it. If you take away the sheet music, I can't play. If you want me to whistle the sheet music, I can't do that either. The notes are positions on an instrument to me, not sounds." "So you're okay at the mechanics of something, but not the art of it." "Yeah, as far as music goes anyway." "Well, I get that. So what's next?" "Next, we cut studs for the other wall." Nada's muscles throughout her entire body were sore. She was drenched in sweat. Her bra was clinging to her skin as if it had been glued there, and yet she had the strangest feeling of accomplishment. After leveling the walls and putting on the first run of planking, Jay basically didn't need any help at all. She and Jay had built the first floor of the building in mere hours. Nothing Nohana had ever done in her life had such an obvious impact on the world around her. It was amazing. Jay continued putting runs of planking up as Nohana went home to shower and grab her guitar. Lily followed the sound of angry chords down Dre's driveway. At the end was a small fire pit, Nohana sitting in a lawn chair with a guitar in hand and the amp pointed towards her. And Jay and a ladder putting boards on walls that weren't there yesterday. Lily gave the new guy a wave as she pulled up another lawn chair and sat across the flames from Nohana. She could feel the anger and stress the blonde was putting into the dark rhythm. Lily wondered if it was her fault or if it was just the built-up of all the small things again. "How'd you know I was here so quick?" Nohana asked, pausing in her playing for a drink of her beer. "And I could hear you from town." "Oh, shit. It's not bad, but you should turn it down in an hour or so." Nohana sighed and nodded, then went back to playing. At some point, Jay joined them, offering Lily a beer. Lily watched Nohana's strong fingers work the strings as she listened to the dark, melancholic sounds of Nohana's soul. Jay merely watched the fire, looking more like he was resting than paying any attention to the blonde pouring her heart out. He couldn't see it, couldn't hear it, couldn't feel it. But then why should he? Only Lily understood Nohana to this level. The vibrating low tones weren't just music, they were Nohana. Jay handed Nohana a wadded cash as Lily picked up the amp. The blonde looked at it with some confusion. "What's this for?" "Work." "Oh, I thought I was just helping." "Nohana," Lily butted in. "Selling yourself to new guy?" Jay and Nohana stared at the grinning Lily, who was wagging her eyebrows. "I'm so sore," Nohana moaned. Lily's expression turned to one of confusion. "So am I," Jay said, joining in on the reversed joke. Lily looked between the pretty blonde girl and new guy, then at the half-built cabin. "You are actually working, right?" Nohana stiffly moved past Lily towards town. "Yeah, mostly." Lily frowned. "Mostly?" Nohana woke to her alarm. She let out a groan. She reached for the damnable clock. And everything hurt. Her arms hurt, her neck hurt, her back and butt and legs hurt. Even her fingers and toes hurt. She lay there staring up at the ceiling for another 15 minutes or so. Jay did pay her, so even if she called in, she wouldn't be out any money. She took a slow and painful morning routine, only finding relief in a hot shower and movement itself. She had called in, and sitting still and stiffening up didn't sound like much fun, so she slowly waddled outside. Lily was already at work. Might as well stop by for coffee and shoot the shit with the old fogies that hung out in the general store at this hour. Lily, Harrock, Megan, and a brief visit from Hal. A typical morning in Benton Cove, full of gossip about this person and that. A handful of comments about some of the tourists, and a few lewd jokes from Lily, half of which only Nohana caught. Nohana left the general store with coffee and ham and headed off towards Jay's place, mostly just to see if he was as sore as she was, or if she was just weak. Jay was sitting on top of the wall, hammering yet another board into place. "You're not sore?" Jay grinned down at her. "A little. Do remember I've been working my ass off since I got here. You okay? I feel like you dragged me out behind this shed and..." Nana paused. Almost pulled a Lily. Jay chuckled. "Since you're here, do you want to throw me up those joists?" "What's a joist?" "The larger boards right there." Said boards was twice as thick as the ones they put up yesterday, and as long as the cabin was wide. "You're a slave driver." Yes. Aren't you supposed to work today?" Painfully, Nohana handed Jay one of the joists. "I called in. I see." It didn't take long before Nohana found herself on top of the building, looking out over Jay's property with her legs hanging over the wall, a beer in one hand and a completed floor under her ass. "Can I just say something?" Nohana asked, breaking the silence. The day was almost over. Both of them were moving slow, and the floor was apparently all that Jay was willing to work on. "What's up?" "Fuck you." Jay looked at the pretty blonde. She merely stared out over the land and took another sip from her can. "You didn't have to help." "It's not that. It's just... things were okay before you showed up." Jay cocked an eyebrow. Exactly I do." Nana shrugged and winced at the pain in their shoulder. Nothing. You're a generally decent person, and I want to hate you for that. But I can't, and it's really pissing me off. Jay turned that statement over in his head a couple times. Can you, maybe explain? It's a secret. Nobody knows. She lifted her beer as if toasting some unseen third person. Jay waited, wondering if he was going to hear this secret. Nana was silent and motionless. She took a drink, and Jay decided not to push it. I'm gay. Jay looked at her again. She simply stared outward. A groundbreaking revelation that was not. He'd slowly begun to suspect something of a sort, and he didn't really see why it would be a secret. And that's it? Nana turned her head. Her eyes met his. That's it? She repeated. Of course. Why would you give a shit? It's not the end of your world. Her voice was getting stronger, more irritated sounding. And that's why fuck you. My entire life being so damned careful about everything I say in front of others summed up with, that's it. Nana took a deep drink of her beer. Jay wondered what the fuck he was supposed to say now. Nana let out a long sigh. I feel better. So, you got a thing for Lily? The blonde snorted. I don't have a thing for Lily, I have a thing with Lily. Oh. That little statement drastically changed the meaning of about half of the Talani girl's wild-ass comments. Wait, you said no one knew. Well, me and Lily know. How about fuck did Lily keep that a secret? Nana failed to stifle a laugh which came out as a hoarse, choking chortle. She lifted her beer. Now that is the question of the century. Now think about it. That beautiful bundle of chaos is so much random shit I don't think anybody believes she's fully straight. And most people straight up ignore every other thing she says. How long have you been together? Fuck, 4 or 5 years now, I think. And nobody's figured it out. We're so careful. We're always watching what we say and how much time we spend together. I'm so sick of playing this stupid, like, sisters game. We were going to get an apartment and do the roommate thing, but what if people began to suspect? People talk. People always talk. That's all they do in this fucking town. It can't be that hard to figure out. Nana ran her fingers through her blonde locks and pulled. So why don't you just leave? Nana swirled the remainder of her beer. We tried that. The city is a scary place and Willie can't do that to her family again. Again? Did you know Willie has a sister, Amanda? We don't talk about Amanda. At least not openly. Anyway, things aren't great, but they were stable. Just until you showed up. Now I can keep my distance away from her. Nana shook her head. I don't know if that's the right answer. We're all technically bi. I don't agree with that. Think about it. Yeah. But my problem is Lily floats more towards men. We live in a small town with no options. She just kind of settled for me. And then she's Talani. They got that whole polygamy cultural thing. If she ends up like her mother, does that make me just one of her husbands? Am I expected to share her with another girl? Or another guy? Nana gave Jay a quick scan up and down. Ugh. Am I that bad? No, I just thought of something disgusting Will show me once. Jay pulled another beer from the cooler and put it down next to Nahana. Don't tell her I told you. At least not right now. I need to figure some shit out. Yeah, sure. You know, I've always had this mental image of you as quiet, stable, and content. Now you just seem miserable and, I don't know, maybe lost. Nana didn't say anything, merely cracked open the next can of cheap beer. I can't give relationship advice, but on misery, stop doing what makes you miserable. Easier said than done, Jay nodded. True, but you can either drink crap beer alone after working in hell, or you can drink crap beer with a friend while looking over the fruits of your labors. You saying I should quit my job, move out to the middle of nowhere, and grow salad in plastic bins? Nana joked. And that's what you want, the blonde laughed. Hey, Nohana. Yeah? Don't pull my tail unless you mean it. Is that Tawani for don't pull my leg, or is it some type of sexual comment? That's a Lilyism, so it's both. Thought so. Does this change anything between us? Nona asked. What, you mean gay? Yeah. I don't think so. Maybe I don't need to watch what I say about women as much? What do you mean? I don't know. Stuff like, she's hot or I think Lily's pretty, but everyone tells me she's the ugly duckling of the family. You haven't... Nohana took a moment to look around. You haven't seen Amanda. If you're ever at my place and Lily's not around, I have a picture with Amanda in it. She's in this sexy little black bikini. Nohana reached out her hands as if trying to grab something. Her waist and her ass and her thighs were perfect. Like good. God, yes. I'd like to pull that tail. The blonde took a drink of her beer. So the tail thing is totally a thing. Oh yeah. And have you seen Lily's mom? Yeah. And what do you think? I don't want to admit what I think about women old enough to be my mother. Yeah, I pulled that tail too. I mean, mentally, not for real. I get it. This is all fucked up, isn't it? What? Jay asked. Just, when I came by this morning, I sure shit didn't expect to be sitting on a building, bullshitting about my girlfriend's mom. I see. Well, you better keep it down. I think your girlfriend's looking for you. Nohana glanced down the driveway. Sure enough, a dark-haired Talani girl was coming towards them. Long, sexy tail curling around behind her. You know, I don't actually like the color purple, Nohana admitted. Ha! You better get used to it. Lily eventually made it to the building, a grin on her face as she looked up at the two. You two up there making out without me? Yeah, Nohana said, clearly catching Lily off guard with her answer. You drew ass up here? I've got swill, Jay added, holding up a beer. You're going to cover us in swill? What? Lily grinned wider. The Talani girl made her way up the ladder and plopped down beside Nohana. So what you talking about? The random shit you say? Nohana replied. Oh, like, blood isn't the only fluid men have? Said Jay. I've read that one. Lily grinned and began chanting, one of us, one of us. Jay had been on the Nohana is hot bus for months now, but seeing her in her swimsuit was definitely a treat. It wasn't anything special, black and orange in coloration, a halter top type thing that started just below her breasts and ran up towards her neck, covering her endowments completely. It just wasn't anything to see, other than shape and size. The bottom was a bikini and not the stringing thing, but the kind that hugged the hips. Again, there was nothing special except for the way her curvy body seemed to want to escape it. Are you just going to stand there and stare at me? Sorry, Jay apologized. Nohana jerked. God's Jay. What? I thought you were someone else. Lily. Yeah, what are you doing here? Her eyes drifted to the fishing pole in his hand. Never mind. Where'd you find this place? Well, there's a giant map in the wall in the library. Seriously? Yeah. So, I'm guessing this is the swimming hole you don't tell the tourists about. Yes. Any fish? I guess so. Jay stood there awkwardly, trying not to ogle the sexy blonde. The fall festival is in about 2 months. I'm planning something. Would you be willing to help me out if I need it? Nana asked, completely changing the subject. Sure, what'd you have in mind? I'm still working on the details. I'll need to get back to you on that. All right. And Jay, can I ask you to leave? Yeah, not a problem. Jay turned to look towards the coming footsteps. Lily was running with a black and red color scheme that almost matched Nohana's. Lower-cut boy shorts for her bottom, the more common and skimpier bra-like triangle thingy for her top, and a choker. She must really like chokers. She looked good with her wide-brimmed straw hat, but in comparison to Nohana was a men's swimsuit edition sports magazine cover. Lily was a skinny model from the female fashion mags that told girls what they should look like, while simultaneously wondering why men flocked to girls with Nohana's figure. Pretty, yes. Hot, not that much. You invited new guy? No, Nohana deadpanned. Jay lifted the fishing pole. I was just seeing if there were any fish in this hole. I plan to spend most of my day at the big lake. Oh, there's a small harbor thingy just south of the main cove. That's where my dad's and Hal like to fish. And if it's not overrun by tourists. Really? I'll check it out. You got some white stuff right here? Nohana pointed to her cheek. Lily wiped at her face, picking up leftover sun lotion and rubbing it into her arm when she realized what it was. She grinned. I know some white stuff I'd like to see all over your face. Yeah, I'm leaving. What? Right now? Lily asked as Jay started off. Yep, have fun. Lily looked at Nohana. It wasn't that bad of a joke, was it? Fall. My father worked in the factories. His father worked in the mines. I'd like to show my boy a tour of those, but no. He needs to see the lake, she says. Like some type of dumb elf or something. No offense. Nah, I totally get it, said Jay. No offense taken. I live here, I don't vacation here, Hal said. The dwarf crumpled another empty beer can, grumbling as he pulled out yet another. Next year we'll go to the mines. That'd be fun. I should do that sometime, Jay said. Hal agreed. The three men were posted in a large boulder overlooking Hal's favorite fishing spot. It was a sheltered area where the underwater vegetation flourished next to a natural drop-off. Today's luck was pretty terrible, but as nobody had anything better to do, here they were catching only cheap beer and bullshit. Anyways, the wife talked me into coming out here until Full Fest, and I agreed because, a hells have no fairy like a pissed-off dwarven lass. Jay chuckled. Hal swore. Jay, I was supposed to ask you if you wanted a booth for the fall festival. If it's anything like the summer festival, the answer's hell yeah. Oh, what you sellin'? The dwarf asked. Coffee, Jay replied. Coffee? Scoffed the dwarf. Beer would be better. You're not wrong, but that brings in a whole lot of extra government. No, I suppose that's a fair point. And I think I got a bite. Wait, no. Norna frowned. She could hear the rattle of the sewing machine as Lily worked on her Full Fest costume. But the Talani girl still wasn't answering the door. Nohana let out a sigh and unlocked the damn thing with her own key. Lily was sitting at her work table, putting something together. Lily... The sewing machine stopped, but Lily didn't otherwise acknowledge Nohana's presence. Liliana, would you like to watch a movie tonight? Lily leaned back in her chair. She took a long inhaling breath and let it out forcefully. Would you like to tell me why you went to the city without me? Yeah. Really? Lily's bright golden eyes sparked until Nohana said, but I'm not going to yet. Lily frowned and returned to her sewing. So, no movie? Nohana didn't get an answer. She gave it a minute before withdrawing her head and relocking the door. Lily would get over her keeping this single secret one way or another. You ready for this? Jay asked as he sorted cups, filters, pre-ground coffee beans, and business cards. Nohana stood in front of the register, rocking back and forth on her heels. No, she replied quickly, but I'm doing it. Jay nodded. Nohana in light gray cargo pants and a blue hoodie didn't look dressed up for the occasion, but Jay supposed that was just Nohana being Nohana. She looked nervous. It was going to be a long day. The tourists had started trickling in a few hours ago. Currently, his coffee wasn't doing as well as Miss Holton's spiced cider, but her supply was far more limited, and it was only a matter of time. The square was decorated with all the fixings and colors of fall. People crowded the food area and the bandstand. The blonde next to him continued to fidget. She's still upset you went to the city without her? Yeah, but she's talking to me again. Jay nodded. I suppose that'll work itself out in a few hours. Yeah, there she is, speaking of the demon prince of hell. Lily was dressed in a red, pink, and white cherry blossom print kimono with her hair done up in some type of bun complete with chopsticks. She's such a weeb, Jay commented. Yeah, Nohana exhaled. A very pretty weeb. Are you going to spend the whole day helping him again? Lily asked Nohana. For a while, then maybe we can go for a walk. Lily frowned. I'll tell you why I went to the city without you, the blonde added. Lily gave Nohana an incredulous look. For real this time? Well, I'll show you. Fine, it's a date then. Yes, Nohana replied. Lily gave the blonde a puzzled look. You've been acting weird lately. You look very pretty. The Tawani girl's eyes flicked over to Jay, then beckoned to Hana. Thank you? I've got to go. See you later. She's getting suspicious. Jay shrugged. Too late now. I'm not ready for this. You'll be fine. Just let me know when you want to shut this down. Where are we going? Lily asked as Nohana led her by the hand down the alleyway and away from the main body of the festival. Almost there. Nohana stopped under a very specific street lamp and physically turned Lily until she was in the correct spot. Oh, I totally know where this is going. I thought you were acting nervous. Are we really going to... Nohana drew in a deep breath to steady her nerves, took a step back, then dropped to one knee. Lily's eyes went wide and her hands reflexively moved to cover her mouth. Gosh, this is not where I thought this was going. Nohana pulled a small box out of her hoodie's pocket. Lily vibrated. Ileana Fisher will... Yes! Lily squealed. Yeah! Nohana yelled as she was tackled to the ground. Oh my god, yes, Lily, I didn't get to finish asking the question. That was hilarious, Jay chuckled. Lily let out a sound that was half chirp, half scream, and threw a rock at Jay. Ow! Lily, ow, hey! Fuck you, Lily yelled, throwing more rocks. Stop! Ah! You knew? The Talani girl threw another rock. She looked towards Nohana. He knew? How long? About 2 months, Nohana said, pulling herself up into a sitting position. 2 months! Lily grabbed another rock and took aim at Jay. Why the hell are you here? Ow, stop that, Jay yelled back. Can you stop throwing rocks? The blonde asked. That's my phone he's holding. Congratulations, said Selena while holding Lily's hand and examining the ring. Hal stood straight with his arms crossed and wearing a somewhat confused look on his face. He looked from a slightly red-faced Nohana to a beaming Lily, then a quick glance at Jay, who was recording everything with Nohana's cell phone. How long? Lily asked. How long have you two been a thing, he clarified. Lily shrugged. Like 4 or 5 years? How in the abyssal hell did you keep this a secret for that long? Nohana continued holding Lily's hand and staring at the ground. We, not you, Hal interrupted. His gaze homed in on his little sister. You! I can keep a secret, Lily protested. Since when? Since it wasn't important to Hana. Hal moved his gaze to the blonde, who seemed to be trying not to shrink away into oblivion. Is this going to be a problem with your family? Nohana nodded. Oh, her mom's going to go ballistic, Lily commented. Hal frowned. His eyes shifted over towards Jay. Would you turn that damn thing off? Nana and Lily were sitting on the retaining wall that separated the sandy beaches of the cove from the lawn of the town's resort. The sky was dark and the moon cast its light over the big lake, making the water sparkle. Lily's head lay on Nohana's shoulder, and it was impossible for Jay to tell if she was sleeping or not as he tapped Nohana on her free side. The blonde looked up at him. I'm gonna clean up and head home, he said, handing her cell phone back to her. Oh, thanks, Jay. Not a problem. See you tomorrow. You too. Hey, Nohana? Congratulations. Thanks. Nohana listened to Jay's footsteps slowly disappear. Her legs and ass were cold, but the side the Talani girl was leaning on was warm and the view was perfect. She wondered how things were going to change. Lily's family loved her. Nohana's family was too pious to admit they hated Lily. There was going to be blowback for this, yet somehow Nohana couldn't make herself care. Epilogue. So you read it? Billy asked, practically vibrating in her seat. Nohana paused her game that washed the conversation. I did, Jay confirmed hesitantly. And? Jay looked uncomfortable. It was, he paused, decently written? Okay, but how were the sex scenes? You know I'm not gay, right? Everyone's a little gay, Lily retorted. Jay handed back the short story she had written about his and Samuel's forbidden love. I read it because you asked me to, and I'm straight enough to have found it mildly horrifying. Horrifying? Lily sounded hurt. Nona chuckled. What was horrifying? I'm not gay. Everything was horrifying. I thought it was good, Nohana added, more to rub it in than anything. Traitor, Jay snapped. I'm still gonna post it on the internet. Please don't. I'll change the names. Ugh, said Jay, sounding defeated. So, Jay, would you do some more proofreading for me? Jay winced. It's not all galley. Is it all hentai? More or less. Jay sighed. How'd I get myself into this shit? He slumped into the beanbag chair and stared to the ceiling. You moved here and Liliana took a liking to you? You couldn't have prevented it, replied Nohana, her eyes once again glued to her screen. Jay shifted towards Lily. She had dropped her story on the table and was once again engrossed in wedding planning magazines. Your name is Liliana? Mm-hmm, Lily nodded. I've seen your Jacob. No, it's actually just Jay. So, Nohana, how've you been doing? She got excommunicated. Ouch. Yeah, well, fuck them, grumbled the blonde. Incest, Billy shouted before continuing in a normal tone. She's talking to her brother more. He's coming to the wedding, Nohana said. Really? That's awesome. I bet he brings the best wedding gift. I want a car. Nohana laughed. Trust you with a car? Hell's no. So when is the wedding? Spring, Billy said. The actual date hasn't been picked out yet, Nohana added. Hey, Jay, you gonna make it through the winter? Billy asked, almost sounding concerned. Yeah, I got the hydro beds closed down. My distributor says the shutdown is gonna lose customer confidence and I'll have a harder time selling next year, but I don't exactly have an indoor operation. And I'm not really sure I want one. I've got the coffee business built up enough that should be good on necessities, and I've gotten the wood stove working, so I won't freeze. Oh, okay. Why? Lily nodded to the window. The world beyond was gray and devoid of color. A flurry of white specks danced wildly across the glass pane. Jay sat up to look. Nohana even paused the game and stared. We have to go outside, Lily said. The first snowfall is my favorite. Author's thoughts. I love watching how the characters I create change in the course of their own story. This was originally supposed to center entirely around the main character, Jay, and Lily was supposed to end up as his girlfriend. I'm not sure at what point I found out that Lily and Nohana were a couple. Certainly by the end of the spring section, I knew that they would end up together. But at the start, I had no idea Nohana was gay or that she had family issues. And I also enjoyed watching the story itself move away from the main character to focus on others. It was unexpected, as was the fact that this thing turned out 3 times larger than the original plan. I had been contemplating how to write a story about farming for what seems like forever and a day. At some point, I came across the idea of the story shouldn't be about farming, but about the lives of the people living in a small town and how the addition of an outside influence might affect the day-to-day. Really, I wanted to write a short slice-of-life story, something mundane that happened in a fantasy world. I think I'm going to attempt more of these in the future. Characters. Jay Higgs. Average height, medium build. Starts pale, work to a tan. Short brown hair and well-managed short beard, coal black eyes, 25 years old. Lily. Liliana Ileana Fisher. Talani, 23, black hair, golden eyes, purple skin, small horns, tail 5 foot nothing. 110 pounds soaking wet, lithe, always wears skirts, choker, freckles on her chest, cooking and making her own clothes, perverted mind, has a silver band on her right-hand ring finger with the words, Love You Forever, inscribed inside. Lily almost never takes it off and claims she picked it up in the city during a sale. Nonna Cooper, 22. Human, blonde, brown eyes, average, 5 foot 836 pounds, plump, curvy, but not too much, pants, jeans, tank tops, average build, soft, not quite chubby, bass guitar, has a stainless steel ring on the necklace chain with the words Forever Owies inscribed on the inside in some type of code, claims she got in the city on sale. For some reason, I always see Nohama as Lukoa from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, smaller endowments and far less bubbly personality. Benton Cove, home of the Benton Cove Resort, only open in summer. Holton's General Store, the only store in town. Search coffee too. If you can't find it here, you don't need it. Thomas and Megan Holton, aging couple, own and run the General Store. Talani, a race of tieflings, sort of. Wow, this got massively changed since I wrote this. Casey Corman, no description. Harak Sinclair, Talani, mayor, county commissioner, recorder, and librarian. Kyle Corson, Jay's grandfather, mother's side. Tamra Higgs, Jay's mom. Hal Fisher, Talani, Lily's brother, town's only postman, fireman, EMT, and police officer. Belana Fisher, Lily and Hal's mother. Selena Fisher, Hal's wife, plain-looking, finds Lily's crass humor amusing. Amanda Fisher, a strange older sister of Lily and Hal. Corbin Smithson, 50s, sawmill logger, weathered face with a perpetual squint, and always holds his chin up when he speaks. Cade Wells, town's handyman, welding, construction, plumbing, inspections. Townsend, town's teacher, homeschooler, person. Toma and Shin Lee, no description. Taro, town healer and priest. Samuel, survivalist guy who looks like a nerd. Nathan, Nohana's overachieving brother. Description: Jay Higgs can't stand his soul-sucking cubicle job any longer when his grandfather dies, leaving the deed to a small property in the tiny, middle-of-nowhere resort town of Benton Cove. Packed up with a business plan, his life savings, and a life path that doesn't include 4 tiny walls and a picture of a stupid cat hanging from a tree branch, Jay makes his way to his new home. Stardew Valley meets fantasy D&D-esque world meets slice-of-life anime in this short story about life in the small town. The people who are stuck there, the people who see it as salvation, and the people who simply come and go. Starring Jay Higgs, a generally decent human being who exchanged the life of drawing lines on a computer for a life of roasting coffee and growing lettuce. Billy Fisher, a chaotic Talani girl known as the town weirdo, anime addict, and a pervert with no filter on the random shit she says. Johanna Cooper, the hottest girl in town who has no interest in being the hottest girl in town and would rather simply play video games and practice her bass guitar that is apparently too loud for her neighbors. Cal Fisher, Lily's older brother, who is the town mailman, police force, fire department, and EMT, and a number of other minor characters. Warning, this story contains adult content, foul language, and the responsible use of alcohol. For more from the author, visit Royal Road and search R.C.Davis. I'm also now on Patreon, R.C.Davis, where I post a lot of basically free shit. Thank you very much for listening to this. And now, here's a couple bloopers from the recording I did. Pile of scrap fabric. What's with the showing? The showing machine. Yes, what's with the I'm almost a blooper reel. Jay Rent to put the butt back. He would have looked like a stereotype. He would have looked like a stereotype. I know what you were doing, and I distinctly remember having this discussion. Zelina stifled. Yes, that's what we do. We stifle things. I stifle a giggle. Good God, that's why I don't narrate books. Shit. I thought now God, and now I can't talk. And a pair of comforter sneakers. A pair of comforter sneakers. The fuck are comforter sneakers? Failed to stifle a laugh which came out as a hoarse choking chortle. Hoarse choking fun son of a bitch.